Well, let's move on to another
You're
topic.
welcome.
So
Okay.
there's been circulating around the internet sort of this debate, and I know personally one person who was concerned about this. Women wanting or couples wanting to have children, the vaccine could potentially cause infertility. So, fact or fiction?
So it is fiction based on the evidence that we have available to us. So when we look at the studies that were done based on for the COVID vaccines in development, we know that they did not intentionally put pregnant women into those studies initially because of the ethical concerns about harming the baby. And that, of course, is very appropriate. But there are women who did conceive during the studies, and we know that there are pregnant women during those studies that did get pregnant. And we are able to now see the results of that. And we know that number one, they were able to conceive just fine. And in fact, if we look, the rates of conception in the vaccine group as compared to the control group, the people who did not get the vaccine, were very similar. And there is no evidence that their babies were harmed in any way. Now, this myth came about because there is some thought that the messenger RNA, which is used in the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccine, could potentially affect a protein that's in the placenta. So, could attack the placental protein. There's no evidence for that. We do not think that that's true. And again, based on all of the evidence that we've had during the research trials, as well as now that the vaccine is available and millions of people have been vaccinated, there's been no evidence whatsoever that the vaccine causes infertility or hurts developing babies in any way. My recommendation would be for a woman who is thinking about conceiving to think seriously about getting the vaccine. I would encourage her to talk to her doctor about her own special circumstance if she remains concerned. But certainly, again, the available evidence would suggest that it is safe. The other part of the equation is what happens if you don't get the vaccine. So we know that COVID is incredibly serious, and we know that there are people who have lost their lives because of COVID infection. So I think that we have to weigh any potential risk that the vaccine might carry with the consequences of developing a COVID infection. And so those are all things to think very, very strongly about and to talk to your physician or provider.
Well, Dr. Ray, great message to get out there and circling back to the theory of why this would occur, given if a woman was given the vaccine, theory doesn't necessarily translate into application or practice.
That's exactly right. So a lot of times people will propose potential consequences or side effects from the vaccine that really aren't borne out in the research. And so we have to be very careful because some of these myths can be very damaging and make it very confusing for consumers to know what is the right path to take. So I will say what I've said multiple times, that the healthcare community should be your source of truth. Certainly, there are websites that lead us to evidence-based information, like the CDC website. There have been several leading organizations in the women's healthcare space, including the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, the Society of Maternal and Fetal Medicine Specialists, the American Society of Reproductive Medicine, all of whom have endorsed the vaccine and its uses in pregnant women. So there are reputable sites and reputable information that you can seek if you want more information. And I would just be very cautious of what you hear and what you read on social media and other outlets.
Right. Well, those heavy hitters, if they've got the endorsement, the backup to back this up, then I just follow the science and I don't know. I always like to listen to people who know better than I do. But anyway, Dr.
That's
Camille
exactly
Wright,
right.
Dr. Camille Wright, always great to see you. Thank you so much for your perspective on these two topics, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
You too.